From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
This episode of News 8 Daily 8 is presented by Downtown Indy.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, November 3rd. Beautiful weather for Election Day, starting cool in the 30s, but will warm up nicely with plenty of sunshine. Highs in the lower 60s. We gradually warm up even more throughout the week with some unseasonably warm temps. And it is Election Day. Polling locations across the state of Indiana are open. The biggest statewide race is the one for governor. Indiana will decide whether to re-elect Eric Holcomb. Indiana is one of only 11 states to hold a governor's race during a presidential election year. All three candidates have made their pitch to voters in 2 debates. A lot of issues have topped the candidates' campaigns, including COVID-19. Incumbent Republican Governor Eric Holcomb says his mask mandate works. Democratic challenger Woody Myers says the current mask mandate doesn't go far enough. And Libertarian Donald Rainwater says the Constitution protects individual freedoms during the pandemic from any mask mandates. Here is what all three candidates say is the top issue for Indiana today. First, you'll hear from challenger Rainwater, then Democrat Myers, and finally Holcomb.
The biggest issue today is, are you experiencing government by your consent? And are you better off today than you were 4 years ago?
My number one issue will always be public safety, period. And under that umbrella, we'll have public health, criminal justice reform, those things that keep Hoosiers safe.
The biggest issue, I think, facing the state of Indiana and every other state in the nation is how we are able to skill up our workforce. The scale and pace of change due to technology is faster than it's ever been.
And
Another big race for voters here in Indiana is for State Attorney General. Republican incumbent Curtis Hill was beaten out by former U.S. Representative and former Indiana Secretary of State Todd Rokita in the primary. He and Democratic nominee Jonathan Weinzapfel, a former Evansville mayor, are vying for the position now. Their stances on the Affordable Care Act are main issues. While both say pre-existing conditions should be covered, Rokita says Obamacare should be repealed and health care should be up to the states. Weinzapfel says the Affordable Care Act should stay and be protected. And the race in the 5th Congressional District is one nearly every national polling expert is calling a toss-up. State Senator Victoria Spartz and Democratic candidate Christina Hale are going head-to-head in a competitive race. We were there yesterday as Spartz voted early in Noblesville. Hale spent the day talking to people and thanking supporters. As Indiana battles a surge in coronavirus cases, both candidates say health care is a priority.
Could see what innovation like telehealth, what could be used to help a lot of people in healthcare. So from all of the bad things that happen, we also need to make sure, look how we can be more innovative, how we can have less bureaucracy, and pandemics like that shows us to that. But access and affordability of healthcare is a huge issue.
The Supreme Court's going to take up the possible overturning of the Affordable Care Act up a week after the election, and that could leave hundreds of thousands of people here, our friends and neighbors, ourselves, without health care coverage if the Supreme Court does overturn the Affordable Care Act. And we just can't afford that.
The 5th District is expected to be one of the closest races in the state. A major campaign stop in the presidential race just happened early this morning. President Trump spoke in Michigan, the same state where he wrapped up his 2016 bid.
And we will make America great again. Thank you, Michigan. Go out and vote.
Vice President Mike Pence joined the president to start the day. That will decide if they get another 4 years or go down in defeat.
If you want your children to be safe, if you want your values to be honored, if you want your life to be treated with dignity and respect, then I am asking you to go to the poll tomorrow and vote, vote, vote.
Michigan is a critical swing state, and the president is hoping for a repeat of his surprise 2016 victory there. He and Joe Biden also campaigned Monday in Pennsylvania. That state may be the most fiercely contested battleground state. It has 20 electoral votes, and both campaigns are spending large amounts of money and time there.
My message is simple. The power to change this country is in your hands.
Joe Biden ended his campaign in Pittsburgh, the same place where he started it a year and a half ago. He's looking to turn the state blue with a promise to unite a country in crisis.
We choose hope over fear. We choose unity over division. We choose science over fiction. And yes, we choose truth over lies. Folks, it's time to stand up and take back this democracy. We can do this.
Biden plans to campaign today in Philadelphia and Scranton. President Trump told reporters he would visit campaign headquarters in Virginia and will spend election night at the White House. The first votes of Election Day have been cast and counted in New Hampshire, and there are mixed results. The people of Dixville Notch voted when the polling location there opened at midnight. This is very traditional, very few people in this tiny township. A total of 5 people cast ballots. This year, Biden won the township with all the votes. People in the nearby town of Millsfield could also vote at midnight. 16 votes went to the president, and Biden received 5. And everyone, of course, may be craving some immediate answers about who wins and who loses. But this year, more than ever before, we all may have to wait. Here at News 8, we watch numbers closely and base our calls on the Associated Press. Julie Pace is the chief of the AP's Washington bureau. She says the organization will not rush to make quick announcements, but will carefully weigh which votes are in and which still need to be counted.
We're also going to be looking for what vote is still outstanding. There are several states in this country, including Pennsylvania, that can accept mail-in votes for a few days after Election Day. It is well known to people. This is not a secret. If there is a very tight race in a state like Pennsylvania, we may have to wait until we get more vote count in. This will really come down to the margins. The tighter the margin is, the more vote we're going to need to see. And if a lot of that vote is still outstanding, we're just going to have to wait.
Pace says the AP will be transparent to make sure everyone knows which states appear settled and which have long counts to come. And there are possible scenarios hinging on the results: a contested election and violence. A report from Axios claims President Trump plans to declare victory tonight if he has a lead. The Biden campaign is now warning the country to ignore a declaration from the president.
They allow you to do all sorts of things for an extended period of time. Bad things will happen. And bad things lead to other type things. It's a very dangerous thing for our country. And I hope the Supreme Court has the wisdom to change it, because they can't let it stand.
The president also tweeted about the decision, saying it would allow rampant and unchecked cheating and undermine our entire systems of laws. Twitter placed a label on the tweet that the content is disputed and might be misleading about how to participate in an election.
Searching for a romantic summer getaway? Escape with Rich Girl Summer, the new Audible original from Lily Chu. The exquisitely talented Philippa Soo, returning to narrate her 5th Lily Chu title. This time, Philippa is joined by her real-life husband, Stephen Pasquale. Set in Toronto's wealthy cottage country, aka the Hamptons of Canada, Rich Girl Summer follows the story of Valerie, a down-on-her-luck event planner posing as a socialite's long-lost daughter, while piecing together the secrets surrounding a mysterious family and falling deeper and deeper in love with the impossibly hard-to-read and infuriatingly handsome family assistant, Nico. Caught between pretending to belong and unexpectedly finding where she truly fits in, Valerie learns her summer is about to get far more complicated than she ever planned. She's in over her head and head over heels. Listen to Rich Girl Summer now on Audible. Go to audible.com/richgirlsummer.
And we are closely watching to see if there could be a change in the balance of power in the Senate. Right now, Republicans hold the majority with 53 seats. 23 are up for re-election. Democrats will need to win 4 seats to grab the majority. There are several states where that could happen, including Arizona and Maine. In Arizona, it's Republican Senator Martha McSally facing former astronaut Mark Kelly. Kelly is married to former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. McSally was appointed to the Senate after Senator John McCain's death. If Kelly wins, it would be the first time Democrats hold both of Arizona's Senate seats since the 1950s. Senator Susan Collins is in a tough re-election match in Maine. She's up against Democrat Sarah Gideon. Collins is considered a moderate Republican. She held out on voting to confirm Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court last month. To sway voters, her opponent has called out Collins for her confirmation vote for Brett Kavanaugh, along with her voting record on health care. If Democrats win those 2 races, along with 2 others, and defend all other Democratic seats up for a vote, the Senate will be made up of 51 Democrats and 49 Republicans come January. And a breakdown of internet searches shows when and where people have been looking at the various ways to vote. Through Google Trends, we can see how often people search for absentee mail-in ballot, early voting, or voter registrations. When you drill down to Indiana, Google's data shows searches for early voting were highest on October 6th, the first day of early voting in the state. And then it also shows where those searches were coming from. As October ended, searches spiked for early voting and absentee mail-in ballot. And even in these final days and hours ahead of Election Day, Google is getting searches for voter registration, which is clearly, of course, it's too late to be doing that. And if you are about to head to the polls or maybe on your way right now listening, Dan Klein has the do's and don'ts of voting.
A list of do's and don'ts begins with where to go. Do's show up at the right location. Half of Indiana's counties, including these 7 in red in central Indiana, now use vote centers, meaning you can vote anywhere starting at 6 a.m. Hendricks, Marion, and Morgan started this in 2018, and this is Shelby's first general election with them. Hamilton and Madison County voters, you must go to your designated precinct. Do not forget to bring your government-issued photo ID, including a driver's license, passport, military or state ID card. If you don't have one, you can get one for free from the BMV, which will also be open from 6 until 6. Just make sure you bring the right documents to get one. Do wear a mask. While they are not required to vote, they are strongly encouraged. Voters are required to keep a 6-foot distance from other voters. Some counties like Marion are giving out disposable finger sleeves to use the touchscreen machines. Do not wear a shirt, hat, or even a button which supports a candidate. So no Make America Great Again or Biden-Harris 2020 gear. If it's within 50 feet of the entrance of a polling location, that's considered electioneering and is actually a crime, a Class A misdemeanor. You can bring notes to help you remember who to vote for, and you can even designate a relative or friend to assist you if you need help. Cell phones are allowed as long as poll workers don't think you are electioneering or having a disruptive conversation. And especially in this time of pandemic and virtual school, remember you are allowed to keep your children with you when you vote. Do get in line before 6 p.m. Polls will stay open as late as they need to, as long as you make it before then. I'm Dan Klein for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook.
4 local YMCA locations are offering childcare so parents can vote. They're calling it Election Day Camp, part of the school's out camps. The Jordan YMCA on Westfield Boulevard, the Ortho Indy Foundation YMCA on Lafayette Road, and the Rainsburg YMCA on Shortridge Road are listed as participating. The Your Safe Family YMCA posted on its Facebook page that it will also be open. All locations are open from 6:30 this morning until 6 o'clock tonight. Camps are open to any family, but you do need to enroll ahead of time. And not to worry if you don't have a ride to the polls. A couple services are offering free transportation in Indianapolis. Indigo is offering free rides all day today. The service's board of directors made the decision to help reduce barriers and access to the polls. You can also ride a bike from the Pacers bike share stations for free. You can check out a bike at any of the 50 spots across the city. Trips longer than an hour will cost 15 cents per minute. COVID-19 hospitalizations tick up again and are on course to hit a new pandemic peak. The state health department says 1,759 people are now in the hospital with the coronavirus, just short of the high set back in April. The state added 3,080 new cases yesterday. The overall case total is now more than 185,000, with 26 more deaths, bringing confirmed deaths to 4,150. And the pandemic is prompting the CDC to issue guidelines so that people with COVID-19 or symptoms of it can vote today. First step, letting workers know about your situation. The agency says workers should have personal protective gear and training on how to handle the situation. The CDC adds all voters should take extra precautions today, washing your hands, wearing a mask, maintaining social distance, avoiding crowds, and being prepared with ID and information so you can spend less time at the polls. Officials ask that you do not disinfect or wipe down equipment yourself because it could cause damage. Poll workers should be doing it after each voter. And now to business headlines. Concerns about election violence appear to be widespread, at least according to one poll. A YouGov survey found that more than half of respondents expected to see violence because of the election. Republicans were slightly more likely than Democrats to say they expected an uptick in violence. Some Americans are holding on to cash as bank branches in some cities say they may close if there are protests. American Airlines has cut its flight schedule by 50% in an effort to match the low demand resulting from coronavirus. American posted its new schedule over the weekend, matching cuts from other major airlines as demand fails to materialize with the fast-approaching holiday season. This is according to Dallas-based airline data. More companies are now willing to not only hire remote workers, but to hire them from anywhere. More than 1/3 say they're willing to hire 100% remote workers anywhere in the United States or internationally. The Conference Board found more than 1/3 of respondents expect that 40% or more of their employees will work remotely at least 3 days per week. U.S. mortgage rates remain at unprecedented levels, according to Freddie Mac. The 30-year fixed mortgage rate averaged 2.81% for the week ending October 29th, up slightly from 2.8% last week. The record low rate of 2.8% marked the lowest since tracking began in 1971. A year ago, mortgage rates stood at 3.78%. Indiana home prices have been jumping. FC Tucker Company says the average September home sale price for the 16-county central Indiana region was $263,215, an increase of 18.2%. Universal Pictures is planning a December 18th online release for its newest animated film, The Croods: A New Age, a short 3 weeks after it first opens in theaters. A few days after that, Disney plans to release its own animated picture, Soul, for home audiences on the Disney Plus streaming service. Of course, this is all another blow to movie theaters. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Good luck at the polls, and we hope that you're able to get there if you haven't been one of those early voters. And remember, Wish TV will keep you covered all day long with all of your Election Day coverage, including when those results do start to roll in. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This episode of News 8 Daily 8 is presented by Downtown Indy.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.